The cold hit her first. It didn't just cling to her skin. It sank deep into her bones. Every step felt heavier than the last, as if the city itself was pushing her away. Her shoes were worn so thin that she could feel the rough pavement through the soles. She wrapped her arms around her stomach instinctively, cradling the small life inside, whispering softly as if the baby could hear her. "Just hold on. I'm still here." Her heart was bruised in ways no one could see. Only hours earlier, she had been standing in her parents' living room, trembling, with tears streaming down her face as her family screamed at her. Her mother wouldn't look at her. Her father pointed at the door with shaking hands, his voice full of rage and fear. "You ruined us," he said. "Get out. Don't come back." And so she left, without bags, without money, without a place to go. Just her thin coat and her baby. The city lights blurred as she walked, hunger and exhaustion making her dizzy. Her breaths came sharp and shallow from the cold, her chest aching with each inhale. She wandered until she couldn't anymore. The park was quiet at night, almost abandoned, except for the wind rustling dry leaves and the distant rumble of traffic. She collapsed onto an old wooden bench. The wood was hard and cold against her spine, but at least it was somewhere to rest. She wrapped her coat tighter, but it didn't help. Her fingers were already numb. Tears came silently, not loud sobs, just silent streams that glimmered down her cheeks, freezing halfway. She didn't cry because of the cold. She cried because she had never felt so unwanted, so disposable. People walked by, a couple laughing, a man on his phone, a cyclist speeding through, but no one saw her. Really saw her. To them, she was just another shadow, another problem, something to avoid. Her stomach tightened suddenly, painful, deep, but faint. A warning. She pressed her hands gently against it, breathing through the discomfort. "It's okay. I won't give up," she whispered. The wind answered with a hollow whistle. Then she heard footsteps. Slow, steady, expensive. Not the hurried shuffle of commuters, but the calm stride of someone who had nowhere they needed to rush to. She lowered her head, hoping whoever it was would just pass. But the footsteps stopped. Right in front of her. She didn't look up at first. She was used to being ignored or worse, judged. But something made her raise her eyes. And when she did, she froze. A tall man in a long black coat stood over her. His face had sharp, controlled features, the kind of face that rarely showed emotion. But now it did. His eyes widened, not with disgust, not with pity, but with shock, recognition, as if he knew her, or something about her. The wind howled again, but for a moment the world stood still. A silence stretched between them, fragile, charged, and strange. She didn't speak. Neither did he. But something had already changed. He lowered himself slowly, as if approaching a frightened bird that might bolt at any sudden movement. The expensive fabric of his coat brushed the cold pavement, but he didn't seem to care. Up close, she could see the fine lines around his eyes, signs of someone who had lived not just with wealth, but with battles of his own. He asked her softly if she was all right. The question was simple, but it shattered something inside her. No one had asked her that in days. Her voice cracked when she tried to answer. All she managed was a faint nod, though the truth was painfully clear. Then came her name. He asked it gently, almost too gently for a man who looked so powerful. When she whispered it, the effect on him was immediate. His breath caught. His expression flickered. Shock, disbelief, then something deeper, heavier. It was as if a locked door inside his memory had just swung open. He repeated her name under his breath, softly, reverently. He remembered it, not from her, but from her mother. Years ago, he had been a boy without a place in the world, a teenage runaway who had trusted no one. He lived under bridges, stole food when he could, and expected nothing from anyone, until her mother found him near a soup kitchen doorway, shivering and angry at the world. She didn't ask him to explain himself or prove anything. She simply gave him food and warmth, and looked at him like he mattered. He had never forgotten the day she told him that even the most broken souls deserved a chance to rebuild. He swallowed hard as the memory hit him like a blow. The girl on the bench wasn't just some stranger. She was a link to the only person in his past who had shown him unconditional kindness. He didn't hesitate. He took off his coat and draped it over her shoulders with careful, steady hands. The warmth of it made her gasp. She tried to refuse, her instincts telling her that nothing ever came without a price, but he gently insisted, his voice firm yet soft. His coat smelled faintly of cedar and winter air, and the sudden warmth made her dizzy. He told her he wouldn't leave her there. Not tonight, not ever again. She stared at him, confused. People didn't talk like that. Not to her. Not anymore. Behind him, a sleek black car waited at the curb. The driver stepped out, startled at the sight of his employer kneeling by a park bench. Daniel ignored the surprise, his entire attention on her. When he reached out a hand to help her stand, she hesitated only a moment, then took it. His grip was strong, anchoring her like she hadn't been anchored in a long time. The world seemed suddenly warmer. He guided her into the car carefully, as if she were fragile crystal. The interior was soft leather, heated, safe. Her body relaxed instantly, but her heart raced with uncertainty. This was a world she had never belonged to. As the car pulled away, the city lights drifted past the windows like distant galaxies. She kept one hand on her stomach, the other clutching the coat around her shoulders. Every movement, every breath felt unreal. She didn't know where he was taking her, or why he cared, or what any of this meant. All she knew was this. For the first time since her life fell apart, she didn't feel alone. The mansion was quiet when they arrived, its tall windows glowing softly against the dark night. She expected cold marble halls and silent rooms, where she would feel even smaller than she already did. But instead, the warmth hit her first. Gentle golden light, the faint scent of chamomile tea, and a fireplace crackling somewhere deeper inside. It felt like stepping into another world, one she never imagined someone like her could enter. The staff stared when Daniel carried her inside. He didn't ask them to help. He held her himself, as if she were something precious. Their eyes widened, some with confusion, some with judgment, but no one dared speak. His voice, calm but commanding, broke the silence. "Prepare a guest suite. Call my personal physician. Right now." No one questioned him. He led her up a staircase with slow, steady steps, making sure she didn't slip. She tried to walk on her own, but the moment her feet touched the ground, weakness surged through her. He simply gathered her back into his arms, effortlessly, like she weighed nothing at all. She felt small, fragile, but safe, for the first time in what felt like forever. The room he brought her to was stunning. Soft white sheets, a warm fireplace, and curtains that shielded her from the cold night. But it wasn't the room that made her cry. It was the way he pulled a blanket over her shoulders with a care that felt achingly familiar. The way he asked in a quiet voice if she was hungry, if she was scared, if she wanted to talk. No one had asked her anything in days. She swallowed a sob and nodded. When the doctor arrived, Daniel didn't leave her side. He listened to every word, every instruction. The baby was okay. Weak, but okay. She just needed warmth, rest, and food. The relief struck her so hard that she covered her face and cried, trembling, unable to stop. Daniel sat beside her, not touching, not crowding, just being there, present and steady. A silent shield. Days passed like this. Gentle meals, warm baths, quiet mornings where sunlight filtered through the curtains and the world didn't feel cruel. She began to regain color, strength, breath. And Daniel, whose life had once been filled with meetings, deadlines, deals, found himself pausing just to listen to her laugh softly at the baby's kicks. His house no longer echoed. It breathed. One evening she told him everything. The fiancé who had betrayed her, the parents who had turned their backs, the loneliness that had nearly swallowed her. Her voice shook, but she didn't break. Not this time. Daniel listened, his jaw tightening with restrained anger, but his eyes soft with something else. Respect, admiration, and something even deeper. Something he didn't name. When her labor came, it was long and painful. She screamed, cried, begged for the strength to continue. Daniel held her hand through every minute, refusing to step away even once. His shirt was wrinkled, his face pale, but his grip never loosened. And then, soft crying filled the room. A baby girl, tiny, beautiful, alive. The doctor placed her into her mother's arms. She wept, her tears falling onto the baby's warm forehead. Daniel stood there, breathless, as if witnessing something sacred. When she offered the child to him, asking if he wanted to hold her, he froze. Then, slowly, he took the baby in his arms. His hands trembled. His chest rose and fell unevenly. She looked at him, not the millionaire, not the businessman, but the boy who had once been lost, just like she had been. And now, here they were, building something new, something neither of them had ever truly known. Family. In the soft glow of the room, the baby curled her tiny fist around his finger, and he exhaled a shaky breath, as though the weight of years had finally lifted. This was no charity.